Hey friends, welcome back to the Burn Stress Lose Weight podcast. This month, we are celebrating the 4-year anniversary of this podcast, and we're doing it with a brand new series, the top 4 lessons that I have learned as a busy professional to lose 60 pounds, and more important than that, to maintain it through many sticky seasons over the last multiple years. We've all lost weight before, but the biggest struggle that overachievers have is actually keeping it off. And I've been reflecting a lot over the last few months on what was the difference between the times in the past where I would lose weight, but then gain it back over time versus the last 6, now almost 7 years where I've lost 60 pounds. And I can say very confident for the first time in my entire life that I'm not nervous or worried that I might gain it back. This might be something that you have felt in the past when you've lost weight. If you have a flicker of worry of what if I gain it back, or you don't have complete confidence that you can maintain it through multiple seasons of your life, through busy seasons with your kids or your family or your work, then this episode is going to be for you. Also, we are celebrating the 4-year anniversary of this podcast with a super huge giveaway. It's a giveaway that I have been just bursting at the seams with. I have been imagining and dreaming about what I wanted to do in this giveaway. First of all, everyone that enters is going to be winning something. So there's that. And we're going to have 10 winners. There's going to be one grand prize winner, and then the rest of you are going to win some still super juicy prizes. I am going to leave this on a little bit of a cliffhanger because I'm just kind of in the mood to be a little secretive, but you can go and get the details for what those 10 giveaway prizes are over at burnstressloseweight.com/celebrate. The way to enter this giveaway is really simple. It should take you under 60 seconds to do, and it would mean the world to me. Simply leave us a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform with your genuine thoughts about the show. Take a quick screenshot, head over to burnstressloseweight.com/celebrate. And when you scroll down, you'll see an entry form where you can submit your review. Also, we're going to give you a chance to have bonus entries. So if you share this podcast or your favorite episode with a friend or in your local community, you can take a screenshot of that and enter that for more entries. The last day to enter the giveaway is going to be April 28th, and we will be emailing winners on April 30th. One of the biggest reasons that we do a giveaway like this is you leaving a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform helps to get this podcast in front of more professional women. And that's my mission. My mission is to share stories, frameworks, concepts, and tools with more women so that more women learn skills and tools to feel better on and off the scale. So if you can take just 60 seconds, leave us a rating and review, take a quick screenshot and share it with us, you will be entered. Again, every single person who enters this giveaway on April 30th is going to get an email with something that I'm sending you. Plus, we're going to have 10 prize winners. That truly is going to be super amazing. You can go and see all of the details for the giveaway, what the prizes actually are, and enter your submission over at burnstressloseweight.com/celebrate. Also, if my voice sounds a little bit off, it's because I'm still recovering from this cough/cold that I caught from my kids. I feel like I have had this raspy voice for weeks now, but I can't seem to shake it. So here we are recording this podcast because I did not want to put off this recording any longer. Let's get into lesson number 1 that I learned as a busy physician that has translated into my life as an entrepreneur and as a busy mom with an unpredictable schedule. The first lesson that I had to learn was very, very challenging for me. And also, by the way, all 4 of the lessons that you're going to be hearing about over the next few weeks is lessons I've had to learn through very painful experiences. So I'm sharing these because I'm hoping to save you the experiences that I've had so that you can learn from my mistakes. And also, sometimes you just have to experience it to learn the lesson, but that's the entire intention of the series. The very first lesson was getting detached from the result and leaning into skills. So as a physician in medical training, or generally even in school, we're programmed to chase a specific result. We're trained to chase the A plus, the gold star. We want the praise or the external validation from the big people in our life. We are chasing a finish line. That's what we're trained to do. We're trained to chase a finish line. Now, the finish line is not bad. It's so much fun to get the A plus and to hit the gold star or whatever the achievement is. But what I was doing with weight loss, and this is not just weight loss, this was in multiple other areas of my life, is I would get so attached to the result and I would get so attached to the timeline that I would be missing the mark on the skills I needed to guarantee that success. And that's what made evaluating missteps and mistakes incredibly hard. Now, I'm all for setting goals. And I don't mean this to sound counterintuitive or like a catch 22, but having a goal is important. It's like programming your GPS with an address so you know what direction to drive in. But what I used to do a lot of the time with weight loss and definitely with my career and in my relationships is I would get so attached to the finish line and hitting the finish line in a certain time frame that I would feel an incredible amount of pressure. And that pressure took me out of doing the deeper, higher quality work of learning skills. Every time I messed up or something went off track, maybe I overate, snacked, scrolled, did something I wasn't supposed to, or the scale was up a pound, or if I felt like I was getting behind on the achievement, if I was getting behind on the timeline, this arbitrary timeline that I set for myself, I would have so much self critical thoughts and so much disbelief that I had no bandwidth left to figure out which skills I was missing to achieve the goal. You might have done this as well. You might have set a goal for yourself, which makes a lot of sense, particularly maybe at the beginning of the year or at the beginning of the week or maybe your birthday, and you set a timeline to the goal and it feels really good to do that. But when it comes to putting that into practice, if you feel a lot of pressure and then a lot of self criticism when you go off track, really ask yourself, how good of a job are you able to do at evaluating the skills that were missing to actually achieve the goal? So the lesson I had to learn, and I've had to learn this painfully so many times in both weight loss, career, and in my relationships, I had to learn how to be almost unbothered about the result. Now, hear me out because I know you're like, we're listening to this podcast because we want to lose weight, we want to feel better, we have these goals in our life, we want more of that for ourselves. I hear you. However, I'm not saying to be uncaring or not care about your goals. I'm not saying to be complacent or loosey goosey. This is the opposite of that. What I'm saying is to have an unbothered energy around the goal and the timeline. And when you have a slightly unbothered energy around the goal and the timeline, you can focus your attention on the skills you need to guarantee success. I was sharing at the very start of this episode, I've lost over 60 pounds. I did that as a busy woman doctor, but more important than that, I've maintained that result over the last 6 or 7 years through many messy seasons, very sticky seasons with very full schedules, with family and career changes that would have in the past completely taken me off track. I would have absolutely gained the weight back. And the difference that has led me to go from being unsure in my results and can I maintain this forever to complete confidence is I started to feel confident in my skills. When your focus is on developing skills and having skills mastery, the confidence that you get to experience in maintenance is just going to be next level. And I'll be honest, this is deeper work. Learning how to retrain your overachiever brain that is obsessed with results, obsessed with the finish line, the A plus, the gold star, the pound down on the scale, you name your flavor of achievement, retraining your brain to hold that a little bit more lightly, to be unbothered about that result, I know is going to feel so disconcerting. You might even want to throw a tomato at me, but I want you to just trust me on this. You have to take that energy that you're spending being super attached to the result and bring that attention to mastering skills. There's a range of skills that I have found in terms of weight loss, specifically body recomposition, but these are the same skill sets that I have found apply to achieving any goal, which is why I tell the clients that come to work with me, the work we're doing is not just weight loss, it is career, relationships. It's getting to your next era. It's claiming the next up level that you want for yourself, for your body, and for your life. Here are the skills that I had to first identify. You have to identify what are the skills that I even need to know and learn and master. So that's one, identify those skills. The second thing I had to learn is how to let myself be a student again. To be a student means letting myself learn so that I could get to the point of mastery. And then number three was starting to actually reap the rewards of the confidence I now feel in maintenance. So here are the skills that I have found I needed to lose 60 pounds to maintain that result for the last 6/7 years. And these are the same skills that I have been using to apply to my career to achieve the next goal for myself in my personal and professional life. Skill number one is to make decisive decisions quickly. When I say decisive decisions, what I mean is not loosey-goosey, let's see how it goes decisions. A lot of us are doing this where we have this idea coming into our weight loss strategy, into your career strategy, into your promotion strategy. Let's see how it goes. We're going to just willy-nilly, piecemeal, DIY our approach, and let's cross our fingers and hope it works. This type of perspective might have worked in your 20s and early 30s, but what I have discovered, mid to late 30s, 40s, and 50s, you don't actually have the reserve to be loosey-goosey with your strategy. So skill set number one is having a strategy that is actually science-informed, that you feel decisive about, and more importantly, that you can make quickly. Overachievers, myself included, are so used to overthinking their strategy. They want the absolute best plan. We can spend so much time second guessing and overthinking the plan that we don't even take action on it. And months and years will go by without you moving the needle at all. So I want you to see just this one skill. I call these skills golden dominoes because when you knock down this one domino, you will knock down friction and pain points down the road for you that you did not even anticipate. Becoming a decisive decision maker means you don't dwell on the decision. You do a constrained amount of research and then you make a decision and you start taking action on it. Skill set number two, also super hard for me, was to actually put guilt-free rest and play on my calendar. I call this concept a plane ticket to Paris in a nutshell. I talk about this in the Body Reset mini course. If you have not yet grabbed that, I'm not sure what you've been waiting for. Go and grab it. You can go get that on my website. But in a nutshell, if you imagined having a plane ticket to Paris leaving today at 5 p.m., it's non-refundable, non-negotiable, it's there, it has been well earned. How would you show up in your workday to guarantee that you got into your seat on time? When you know you have a guaranteed plane ticket to Paris, likely during the workday, you would be a lot more focused, more productive, more efficient. You would delegate tasks that you do not need to be doing. You would be a lot less likely to scroll your phone, overthink your decisions, take double or triple the amount of time to finish your project. You would be a lot more focused in how you executed your workday. You might even reprioritize some of the work you have to get done. You might hand something off to someone else, delegate it to someone else, say no to something so you got the needle movers done in your day to make sure you got onto the plane on time, because we are so used to attaching our value and our self-worth to how productive we are. But this keeps us on the hook for constantly overworking. You can even finish your to-do list and you'll get to the end, and rather than letting yourself actually rest, your brain has been so hardwired to working will try to get ahead on tomorrow's problems. But the reason that this is an important skill set to develop, and it is a learnable skill set, is eventually your very tired brain that's tired from making thousands of complex decisions day in and day out is going to get fatigued. And a tired brain makes bad decisions and steals breaks in the form of snacking and scrolling. So you've never just been weak. If you've had an urge to go off track, it is likely because your brain is super tired and you never had real rest, guilt-free rest, and fun and joy on your calendar. And before you tell me that you're too busy because you're a busy professional working mom who has so many responsibilities, if you do a simple time audit of where you've been spending the last 72 hours, I would be willing to bet you could find some time for you to have real guilt-free rest. The third skill that I am still practicing, this is probably going to be a skill that I practice for the rest of my life, but I have made so much progress in this one skill over the last few years, particularly in maintenance, and that is building my discomfort tolerance. That means when I feel an emotion in my life, whether it's with my kids or in my career or in my marriage, it could even be with having an injury when I was trying to hit the gym, or last year I shared I had my Stairmaster goal and I was going completely sideways. We are going to experience very real emotions as we're navigating our very big and complex lives. We might experience some flavor of stress, and when we're not aware of it, this is where most of us will take a break with snacking and scrolling. So the third skill set is actually teaching your body that you are capable of holding an uncomfortable emotion like stress or worry or even fear. It's not going to jump out and harm you. It's possible to build your capacity to allow that emotion without reacting to it and without hiding from it and without numbing out. And building that skill set starts to develop emotional resilience. As you practice building discomfort tolerance, which we have been talking about on this podcast a lot recently over the last multiple months, you start being able to weather more storms. Rather than quitting on your goal or deprioritizing your body goals when seasons get busy, you learn the skill of navigating those emotions without sabotaging your wins. The fourth skill is what I call reward rewire. What this means is really anchoring to and remembering why you're even doing what you're doing. We are so often myself included, living in autopilot mode because we have so many responsibilities and tasks. We are trying to multitask and handle so many things both in work and at home that it makes sense that your brain has created a lot of autopilot shortcuts. It's like when you drive to work and you don't even know how you got there. But living in autopilot mode takes us out of feeling satisfied in real time. You'll start chasing a goal like weight loss and not even remember why the goal matters to you. So, skill number 4 is on purpose teaching your brain to slow down and remind yourself, why does this goal even matter? Why is the plan that I have, the decisive decisions that I have made for it, amazing? Why is it worth my effort to follow through in those moments where my motivation has dipped or it feels hard? I can spot a mile away when someone is lacking the skill if they feel deprivation or FOMO with their weight loss strategy. It just shows me that they aren't doing this one layer of work. And if you don't anchor to your why, your results cannot be sustained. The beauty of this one skill is it releases dopamine in your brain. So you get this natural, clean hit of pleasure in a way that is attached to pride. It is attached to conviction and commitment. It has no regret. And it's so much less likely for you to sabotage your wins when you're actually remembering why your goal matters. The 5th skill is playful scientist. This is having the lens of curiosity. I'm going to have a whole podcast episode on just this one because I did not have this skill for a really long time. Even as a lifelong student, I was completely missing this skill. And I was missing this skill because I was so attached to the result. I want you to see how this is all connected. Playful scientist is a skill set that is very, very hard for overachievers, especially for me as a woman doctor. It was very hard. We get so much praise and accolades for having the right answer, for always knowing the information, for always being in the know, that the idea of messing up, having a mistake, something going sideways is deeply vulnerable. And overachievers want to avoid mistakes at all costs. But just like all the other skills that I'm talking about in this episode, this one skill is why I feel so much confidence in maintenance. And I would actually say that this is the one skill that has given me the most confidence. The reason is because I know not if I gain a couple of pounds, it's when I gain a couple of pounds, maybe when I travel or have a busier season with my family, or maybe life has gotten just a little more hectic, I might gain a couple of pounds because that's how life goes sometimes. But rather than indulging in drama about gaining the weight back, having the skill of being a playful scientist where you can look at your results objectively, get really curious about what skill was missing, and then make a quick tweak to your plan so that you address that skill is how I know that I will maintain these results forever. It's a combination of these 5 skills that I have realized over the past multiple years that the real goal is not just weight loss. The real goal that I have for the clients I work with is that you don't just lose weight, but that you feel confidence in maintenance, that you have that freedom in any social food scenario, that you have confidence in any food scenario where weight loss stops feeling like another full-time job. The truth is, as you're losing weight, there's a lot of excitement because you're seeing the number on the scale come down. So you get these dopamine hits week after week. But when you get to maintenance, it gets boring. That's when your skills get put to the test. Can you maintain your decisive decisions? Does your strategy feel like a lifestyle upgrade in maintenance? Have you built your capacity to handle the discomfort of boredom? Do you feel anchored to why you want to be at a specific weight? And lastly, do you have mastery in figuring out when things go sideways? Can you have your own back without the drama? So I wanted to break down these skills because I realize how easy it is as overachievers to get really fixated on the 3-digit number on the scale that you want to see this year. And I know that that's important and it's very doable for you. However, alongside your desire to achieve that goal, I also want you to get a little bit obsessed with mastering skills. Because when you focus on mastering skills, I'm telling you, the amount of self-trust and confidence you'll experience once you get to your goal weight is going to be the priceless result that you have that you didn't even know that you needed. So lesson number 1, be a little unbothered about the result and the timeline, not from an I don't care place or a complacent place. Be a little bit unbothered enough that you can start obsessing over the skills. I want you to focus on mastering skills, leaning into learning skills so that as you master them, your results become inevitable. And more important than that, you start to have the self-trust and confidence that you can maintain it for a lifetime. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast episode. And if you did, leave us a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform. It takes just under 60 seconds and it would mean the world to me. Take a quick screenshot and join us in the podcast celebration over at burnstressloseweight.com/celebrate. Everyone is going to win something, and we're going to have 10 prize winners, which I think is just kind of wild. It's really fast to enter, and it really does a lot for this podcast. I hope you all have an amazing day. I cannot wait to see your entry, and I will see you next week. Bye. One lesson that I have learned over the years is when women feel better on the inside out, everyone around them gets to benefit. Your career, your family, you all get to claim the up level. So if today's podcast episode gave you a new way to think or maybe challenged an old perspective that you've had, take it with you the rest of this week. And if this podcast episode resonated with you, I would love it so much if you could leave us a rating and review and share this episode with a friend or in your local community. And if you know you want more support and structure in achieving your body goals this year, it might be time for us to work together. Head over to www.burnstressloseweight.com where I have the latest resources and all of the information about how you can work with me. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I will see you